Alright, wonderful cunts. Welcome back to Practicing Portraits on artwod roadmap, right? The artwod portrait roadmap. Link in description, all that shit. Artwod is the best learning platform in the world to actually get good at drawing, learning forms, all that shit. Don't look at this as an example, but look at my live streams, I guess, if you want a better application. I mean, I think this is okay. But yeah, we're looking at a portrait reference. We're encompassing that in a box. We're putting a sphere inside that box, and we're visualizing the center lines, vertical and horizontal, inside that sphere, inside that box, right? That's extremely difficult. It's basically trying to hold three layers of perspective and trying to project that onto the page or calculate it in my mind, right? Whichever, because we all visualize it differently. But I got a comment on a recent video asking something along the lines of, do you only ever use brush pen? I guess I'll just address it. Oh yeah, draw along, draw along. At this point, you should know to draw along. Grab your pen, grab your paper, right? Draw along, practice your portraits, practice anything, really. As long as you're focusing on your fundamentals, right? Like use my videos. If you were to use my videos as a call to action, please use them as a call to action to actually practice difficult things, right? So, that's what I would like of the hashtag. Fuck, I'm drinking coffee, but hashtag Vicky Fambers. can't do the yum yum yum. The unnecessary finger motions. There are many finger motions in this world, only few at which I'm adept. This being one of them. But I'm pretty sure everybody saw that joke coming. That was fucking basic as hell. But yeah, draw along. But yes, I do only ever use this brush pen. Not particularly because I am so attached to this pen, but it's as a skill acquisition means, like as a means of skill acquisition. By the way, while I'm talking, I'm already drawing in my mind and on the page, like, not actually, no, not on the page, but in my mind. Right, I'm trying to visualize. I'm already looking at the portrait reference that I have over on the left, and I'm trying to visualize and understand exactly where, and also like trying to hold that sphere. It's really difficult to do all those three things at once, but yeah, this was mainly about me trying to understand exactly the box that this is placed in, right? Because the side of this woman's face, right, if we're gonna call it the side plane, is very subtle, but it's a bit longer. So it's something like this, I'd like to think, right? I think this is a perfect cube in perspective, and like my perspective skills are not incredible by any means, right? Like it's a lot of trial and error for me, but I think this should, ooh, see, look at that line. And that's why I use the brush pen. Do you see how it basically tells you to go fuck yourself when it comes to your your um your pen pressure control, your sensitivity, everything that's related to just your abilities with fine lines, right? Like it really is a great reflection of, okay, am I actually, see, like I can't, this what the fuck, this angle, right? Like pushing in and out like this, to this fucking day, 2.5 years in of using this pen, I struggle greatly with that angle, even though I try to practice it as often as I can, right? It's actually very subtle, the angle that we're looking at, I'm pretty sure. Oh shit, her face is actually tilted a bit forward. This is more accurate. It's hard to tell, but I think I'm getting it down slightly. But this is actually very subtle, right? Like we don't really see the top of her face. Or sorry, we don't really see the top of her face. This is relatively accurate, I like to think. And there is a sphere that fits in here, bars, right? I'm just trying to think, because again, this has to encompass a perfect sphere, and it also has to, like, I also have to visualize that center line, right? Horizontal and vertical. So really difficult, genuinely difficult. And you can see my mind, when I hold that projection and then try to wrap, essentially form wrap simple shapes around it, that it becomes very, like, it becomes way more of a top angle, right? Like it becomes much more exaggerated. I lose the subtlety, right, when I try to hold it, because I don't have the skill, right? I'm not capable yet, but I'm attempting to become capable to have that skill. And that's what learning is. Like it's literally about attempting to have the skill. And that's why I'm trying to take my time with this process, because I think this is relatively accurate, right? And again, you see, like, this is why I use the brush pen. So yeah, to you, commenter, who was asking, do you always use a brush pen? Yes. A, because I do love it. Like, I know I said I don't have any particular emotional attachment to it, but I love it because I've approached it from a skill acquisition point of view. And you can see my lines are super slow. They keep skipping, right? Like, I make a lot of mistakes, and that's why I love this pen, because this pen, in my opinion, and I think, like, I don't really know how fucking much of an opinion this is. It's kind of just a fact that brush pens in general are basically like the fucking final boss of pens, or like of drawing materials, right? Because they really just highlight weaknesses. Oof, see? And again, my perspective, and again, like my lines. Oof, see everything. Like you can see in this angle, like it's just and it feels amazing. Like it's just consistently showing me and reminding me that, dude, like you don't have the skill to draw clean lines in this perspective, and that's a skill, right? Every fucking angle that we draw in is an additional skill. It's a sub skill, a meta skill, if you will. So, and like again, while I'm talking and while I'm doing this, I keep losing the perspective because I'm trying to visualize and see them all at once, right? And like, and that's and like going back to the main fucking point, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I use this pen primarily because I think your head should be, I think, yeah, the box should be tilted a bit more forward. This tilt is a bit too much. These two are both too subtle. It needs to be somewhere in between. Well, I see that now, so I'm going to try applying it next time I do this, right? And this is converging slightly, this line compared to this line, so that's a good mistake as well, right? But yeah, I anything that I do is all based off of how difficult it is, right? Like if it's difficult, I will pursue it for hundreds of hours, right? Till it's not as difficult, right? And that's just through sheer intentionality and repetition. What the fuck, voice crack? But yes, I use the brush pen. It is my tool of choice, primarily because it is a tool that this is the number one tool in my opinion, and from my experience now, 2.5 years, that has improved my lines the most, right? Because it doesn't sugarcoat your ability. Like try using this brush pen. You know, penteru brush sign pen artistu penu penteru, right? Genius marketing. Look at that, look at that. Like in this angle, I can't create straight lines yet, right? The power of yet, Carol Dweck. But look at this. And yes, I draw very slowly. I got criticized for this in one of my videos. Funny enough, somebody actually gave me shit. This has been half a year now, so you know this comment has not affected me whatsoever. I mean, I remember most comments, right? Like I remember, trust me when I say, like, I appreciate all the comments who call me inspiring and all that shit too. Like I genuinely do appreciate that, right? Because my goal, it's not that my goal is to inspire, but it's like I definitely, I'm happy that I do inspire, you know? Like I am grateful that I inspire, because people need to know that they can be capable of what they value as the skill they want to achieve, right? People need to understand that, and people need to be assured of that. Except I'm not going to give you bullshit assurance. I'm not going to say, yeah, you can do it just because you want to hear that you can do it. I will give you the assurance that you deserve, which is you will deserve it when you work for it, right? And it seems like there is a subset of individuals who appreciate that message, i.e. my fans, or people who just chance upon this channel, which is that fucking other side of the nostril is completely off, right? But yeah, I remember all the good comments. But basically, and I'm gonna be all over the place today, because dude, like, and I kept losing that sphere, but it's getting better and better. The thing is, the funny thing and the best thing, right, is the fact that because of my sheer effort that I've been making, like, it's been so much easier to keep getting that sphere back. It's been a lot easier. Before, it would take a lot of time to see it back in the box, but now seeing the sphere and seeing the center lines does not take as much energy. Obviously, it still takes a lot of energy, mental energy, because drawing is a mental skill, right? It's a cognitive skill, like actual drawing, not fucking around, like, and that's why many of you, or many beginners in general, you all struggle with actually committing to learning drawing, because you get humbled on the fact that, oh shit, this is a thinking skill. This isn't, like, I have to think quite a bit to even make a simple line. And again, I thought I was making the perspective okay, but the perspective was off, right? That's fine. But yeah, drawing is a thinking skill. I think I made her eyebrows way too high up this time. First they were they're way too high up. I keep giving her a fucking 3 head. It's either a 5 head or a 3 head. Like, this is this or this. So again, it's good to, like, this is why I practice the features on it, even though that's not required from the current artwod roadmap, right? Look at that line. And the thing is, like, today, it just seems to be my lines are subpar. Like, today is just one of those days, seemingly, where my lines are even more, say, wiggly than usual, right? But does that mean that's a reflection of the fact that I'm just shit? It could be or couldn't be. It doesn't fucking matter, because the point is, even on days like this, we attempt to move forward and to have good lines. I'm getting better though. Right now, I just want to say out loud, like, I'm thinking about the sphere and the center lines. I'm getting slightly better at holding it while I draw these features, which is important to me. And that is important, right? Like being able to hold perspective and hold the visualization, right? So it's not too bad. But yeah, somebody basically commented a while back now saying it's the most fucking retarded comment I've ever seen. But this is how you know that it's only people who don't have the skills that criticize. Right? Because people who do have the skills, vast majority of them, right? It's not all of them, but vast majority of the people who have the skills look to help. And many of them don't have an ego. Like people who've actually put in the work to get good, right? Like people who've actually put in the work. I'm not talking about people who kind of put in work, but people who've actually put in work. Like when Tyrion gave me advice, he gave me very sound, constructed advice, and he gave me very good feedback on just like what the direction. Broken Draw, by the way, I'm talking about Broken Draw, right? His name is Tyrion, but he gave me what I felt was very good feedback on just like, okay, here's the direction you're going in, here's what's working, here's what isn't, right? But people who don't have the skills usually just critique with zero knowledge or evidence to back up what they're saying. So this individual, and I'm about to rest my brain, but I just want to quickly get this out of the way. This guy or girl was just like, don't use the difficult tool. This is reserved for people who are really good. He's like, you should start with the easier tools, and then when you have experience, do the difficult tool. And maybe like that might sound reasonable, right? Like that might sound reasonable. It's like, oh yes, I should do the easier tool first. But no, it's fucking retarded, because the tool is not limited by the fact that I need X amount of years of experience. The tool is simply limited by I need experience with the tool, right? So why should one? It's like what's a good analogy? It's like somebody telling you not to wear cleats on the soccer field and start with running shoes instead. It's like they're both fucking shoes. Cleats just and maybe this isn't the best example, but the point is cleats have like a different friction with the ground, right? Different tension. You have to break them in differently, right? You have to get used to running in them, all that stuff. Like, and this isn't the best example, but the point I'm trying to make is the easier tool and the difficult tool both have the same function. In this case, they both have to make lines. The more difficult tool just requires a lot more pen pressure sensitivity, a lot more fine motor skill control, right? A lot more intent, and it takes a fuck ton more time to get good at. Therefore, you just need to use the tool to get good at it, right? I was like, this is the most retarded fucking comment I've ever seen. So I made sure to highlight, pin, and send them a Cash App transfer. I didn't know where I was going to end that sentence there. I was still working on my conclusions. But either way, that's why I use this pen, because it's difficult. And I encourage everybody to actually do the difficult thing and use the material that's difficult. Don't listen to fucking people who say stupid shit like don't do the hard thing, right? That's most likely because they've never done anything hard themselves. So do not listen to them, right? I mean, you can do whatever you want, but this is just what I think, which is do what I want. But anyways, let's all rest our brains. All right, cool. So yeah, I definitely want to, again, think about the box, think about the sphere inside the box, think about the center lines inside the sphere inside the box, right? Like this has a sphere inside of it. The center lines, this vertical one is going to be a lot more narrow, for sure. And that's something I'm still figuring out, right? When the perspective changes, how this, like this changes, right? This side plane in terms of the sphere, like and yeah, it gets wider and wider, and then after a certain point, that's just the edge of the sphere, right? And then, here it gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and it gets narrower, is my understanding. That already is a lot better, but trying to, obviously, again, doing things at a small scale is 10 times easier than doing things at a larger scale when it comes to perspective, in my experience and opinion, right? I think I can speak for most beginners when I say that in the beginning, just thinking about the fucking horizon line to this degree while thinking about a box and being like, right? It's fucking difficult, bro, because you literally have to think about a goddamn line. It's extremely difficult. I will never understate that. Like, as a beginner, like a true beginner who's never practiced any sort of perspective, just the concept of having to visualize a fucking line on a page and then having to hold some sort of dot, whether it's 1 point or 2 point or 3 point, and then being like, okay, now really think about it, right? And in the beginning, hundreds of times, you'll do something like this, and then this, and then this. And you'd be like, am I retarded? It's like, no, that's just learning. That's literally learning. And I guarantee you, I promise you, as long as you stick with it, right? And actually, no, I'll say it a different way. I guarantee that sticking with it will result in the improvement and the progress that you're looking for. You simply need to expand the time horizon from 1 month from now to what you believe your goal, that you hit your goal, to 5 years from now, and times 10 the repetitions you think it'll take for you to get there. Okay? That's it. Okay, simply have more realistic expectations and understand that as long as you keep working at it, you will, without a fucking doubt, get better. As long as it's intentional, like intentionally working at it, right? Actually working your brain. And obviously, I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is. My money where my mouth is? What the fuck am I, dude? This stuttering. Trying to work on my communication, and the second I get to the art channel, I'm back in hashtag Viggy famming mode, right? I don't know what that means, but what I'm trying to say is I'm gonna obviously like showcase that, like I'm gonna practice what I preach, right? By now, working my brain really hard. Box, sphere inside the box, center lines inside the sphere inside the box, and now trying to design, right? Simple shapes, because we're trying to take it all the way back and make them simple, right? Boxes, cylinders, maybe a little bent, maybe cut, maybe subtractions, additions, intersected. That's my level of simple now, but nothing more, nothing diagonal, or like, yeah, diagonal as well, but nothing like blending into one another, nothing, no multiple rounding yet, like we're removing that for the time being, no single rounding, right? There's like a few things we're gonna remove, because we just want to think about the simplicity. And like this is extremely difficult, because the second I'm starting to think about the shapes, the box is starting to tilt. And this is happening again, where we're seeing more, bless me, we're seeing more of the top plane. Like, and this is just because I practiced this a lot, but I haven't nearly practiced extreme subtlety like this, right? So we need to hold that. We need to be like, no, it's subtle. And obviously I gotta think about proportion as well. Like I want to make sure I fit here, because you noticed this is overlapping here, right? All these different skills, are skills, right? But all these different skills, essentially in my mind, trying to be juggled and calculated and held and visualized, and then juggled and calculated. And now we have shape design, and we have to make sure that whatever we like, or I'm gonna try to make sure and ensure and practice and apply that whatever I draw is relatively aesthetically pleasing. And that just comes down to practicing and experimenting with different ratios. This looks nicer than this, right? Now why? It's like because I use large, clearer shapes and I have different ratios, right? Like this is the same width, this is the same width, but now we have something that's like, you know, large, medium, small. Okay, that kind of means something to me, but I'm slowly starting to figure it out. And I just have to do the same thing here, right? So let's see what I can do. And again, trying to hold that box. It's super difficult, super difficult, trying to hold the box, the sphere inside the box. Like I'm telling you, my brain, like in general, your brain will shy away from doing difficult things. Like right now, my brain really doesn't even want to visualize this. It's just one of those days where I don't even want to visualize, but I'm like, nope, shut the fuck up. We're gonna keep pushing. And this is the thing, like when you make mistakes, you feel good about them, right? It's what you quantify as a mistake. Right now, everything that's not me being able to visualize this, right? The box, sphere inside the box, center lines inside the sphere inside the box, is a mistake. And that's just reinforcing to my brain, like, okay, like these are mistakes. So we need to consistently be able to visualize this in order to learn, right? And then we have the center line here as well, right? And I haven't technically drawn physically yet, but I'm already drawing a lot in my mind. And by drawing right now, I'm just trying to hold those 3 layers of projection, right? We haven't even thought about the shape design or anything yet, but let's see. Because if I have that there, let's bring it down a little bit, right? Oof. Okay, so now I'm slowly starting to hold this projection in my mind and hold this sphere in my mind while trying to add shapes onto it. Now, of course, it is very difficult. Like, don't get me wrong, it is very difficult to try to add shapes, right? It's probably the most difficult thing to try to add a shape that makes sense while retaining the size of the sphere, right? And by make sense, I mean just a shape that follows a contour. But this is where we slowly go at it. So I'm gonna slowly just do something like this. And I already may have fucked the perspective up, but that's why I'm trying to go slowly, right? That's literally why I'm trying to go slowly. And it's difficult because I'm trying to also ignore this, but I'm trying to keep this as a reference kind of in my peripheries when it comes to being able to ensure that the perspective I'm retaining is accurate to this. But at the same time, I need to make sure that I can visualize it here as well, right? So it's very difficult. It's very fucking difficult, right? And again, this is a very subtle curve. Very subtle curve. Very, very subtle curve. So, okay, so this is the front plane I've established. I'm trying to establish that in my mind. We can't say with confidence that, like, this is what I've established and this is what the front plane is, but this is clearly, I kind of made this the top of the sphere. So yeah, we're gonna bring that sphere down. Let's see. Man, this is extremely difficult, right? Trying to form wrap shapes. But right now, the main thing is I just need to keep the size of the sphere consistent, right? We just need to keep the size of the sphere consistent. So that's probably where the bottom of the sphere is. Yeah, we just need to keep the size of the sphere consistent. And well, let's do something like this first. Even though this isn't what I originally planned, right? And now this may look very similar to that. You can tell, like, I'm not trying to make it exactly like this, but right now my brain is just trying to get the wrapping of the shapes around relatively accurately, right? So let's see, and then we can do something like, okay, so it's gonna wrap around. It's gonna wrap around. It's gonna wrap around. I'm trying to see the box again. See, this is really hurting my brain. This is genuinely really hurting my brain. But slowly but surely, I'm really trying to understand. And let's extend this outward, right? Yeah, I'm really like, right now I guess it's just about the primary two shapes. And this may be incorrect, but I don't really care about, okay, like this is super incorrect or this is not incorrect. All I really give a shit about right now is just making sure that what I'm doing has some semblance of sense, right? That's all I care about. So, and then this can be a shape that's following the perspective. And again, while I draw these, I have to really, really try hard to hold the 3 layers of projection up, perspective being projected in mind, right? Again, that's the most difficult part because I already fucked this up, right? Like you can tell, like this isn't really accurate. This should have been more pronounced, but it's too subtle in this context. So that's the thing. Like this is all extremely difficult. Like I will keep reiterating it, right? But to hold the box, the sphere, and the center lines, and to like constantly try to calculate and understand and visualize that, and make sure that it's held consistently and proportionally, right? Like it's just all held, you know, like it's just held, and then to then be like, okay, now design something on top of it, like wrap shapes around it. That's extremely difficult because you're trying to hold all those fucking layers of perspective being projected onto the page in your mind or whatever, and now we're telling ourselves like, okay, now start creating, right? And that's why form wrapping is extremely difficult, right? But that's why it's also extremely valuable. See, and those lines were pretty subpar. And right now I'm just trying to, again, see if I can make anything that makes sense. Let's see, we'll do something like this. Right, and we'll follow this diagonal, so at least there's some consistency in that aspect. But it's extremely difficult to hold all this, and I still have to think about the center, right? So this being the center. Like this curve has to be so subtle too. Like this curve has to be so subtle. But I could also maybe do something like this, right? Okay, now I have to think about what this is gonna look like. I'll do something like this actually. I'm gonna add a little addition here. Okay. Maybe this will work, maybe this won't. It's kind of like trying to visualize it, but also... Oh wait, that should have a much more greater degree. There you go. See? So it's okay. It's okay, indeed. And again, trying to see that box. And you can see my lines are suffering quite a bit too, right? So nothing about this is easy. And that's a good thing, because if it was easy, I wouldn't want to fucking do it. Like, I literally wouldn't want to do it if it was easy. And much like your mom, you just have to persist. Okay, so that is a mistake. Again, trying to think about symmetry as well while I do this. And this is why I fucking respect artists like Peter Han, Karl Kapinski, Kim Jong-gi, and anybody who draws mech stuff. It's because it genuinely is a fucking... It's so difficult on the brain. Oof, it's so difficult on the brain. Right? So we have to... Okay, that's the center. I feel as if I've done... This is still a way more tilted. And I ended up doing this again. But maybe we can still make it relatively subtle. Right, okay, so how is this being attached? That's not that good, but again, let's just try to make something out of this. Right, so this is coming down this way, and then we can... There you go. Okay, so that at least like we got one part of the sphere. Even though technically we should be seeing more of the front than the side, I've kind of drawn it now. We're seeing more of the side than the front. But the point is, I have drawn it, so that's progress. Right. So again, we gotta really try to keep that perspective in mind. Like, genuinely really try to keep this perspective in mind. And you can see my lines in general suffer quite a bit. But I'm trying so hard to hold everything in my head right now. And I fail multiple, like, I fail consistently. I want to be very clear. Like, failure is what drives my progress. Failure is what drives everyone's progress. If you're not failing, you're not learning. That doesn't mean you, again, I want to keep iterating on this, right? It's like you don't chase failure in the sense that you intentionally make mistakes that you could avoid, right? You chase failure in the sense that you intentionally try to not, you try to, your hardest to not make the mistake, but when you do inevitably make it, because your standards, your expectations, and your attempt to meet them have a wide gap, right? That's when we feel good, and that's when we learn, and that's when we try to focus on those gaps. So, okay, let's make this a lot bigger, because clearly, I've now understood that things shouldn't be so even. And again, like, yeah, my lines are just shit. They're just subpar to the max, but see, like, I'm trying to do the curve, but right now, like, you'll notice the biggest thing actually holding me back more than anything is also just my lines. Like, when my spatial reasoning is decent, it's my lines that are usually holding me back, right? So it's like I don't know what to do with this shape because I feel as if I could have done something better, but the fact of the matter is we at least did some sort of shape. Right? That's a pretty subpar cylinder. I don't know why I was struggling so much to get that word out there. But, and now, like, while I'm drawing the cylinder, I've completely lost the perspective. I want to be very clear. Like, I've completely lost the perspective of the sphere, the box, and everything, because I'm so focused on the cylinder. Right? So, but I'm trying to keep it in my mind. I'm trying to be aware of the fact that there is a perspective to think about, and it's very difficult. And you can see my lines. My lines suffer greatly, right? But this isn't bad. This is actually pretty decent in terms of my recent like just the patience is the biggest thing, but this isn't bad in terms of me trying to hold everything in my mind. And I'm doing this cylinder specifically because I want to practice obviously getting both sides down, right? So if we have this, then Oh shit, we don't even see it on the other side. Yeah, we don't even see it on the other side. God damn it. At least I don't believe we do, because if I'm following exactly like this line ends here, right? And then we bring it out a little bit, right? And then there we have this, and then we project it outward. Like, yeah, it's basically, yeah, we don't see it. We don't see it because it's being covered by this cylinder. But again, like I should have thought about something connecting this, but and I've already kind of fucked up the sphere a little bit, but that's where I just need to keep practicing. Who would have fucking thought? He just needs to practice. Right? Let's try to close this off. And I want to do something where we are... Let's see, I want to do something that's... Okay, I want to try something different. Let's see, something that also follows the contour and sets into motion the cylinder, or sorry, the sphere. But I'm going to rest my brain right now, because right now we did a lot of thinking right there, so we need to take a step back and try to rest our brain. So I'll do just that. I'll be right back, and I encourage you to rest your brain as well. I know my commentary is not so riveting when I'm saying I'm gonna do this or I'm gonna do that, but what I'm trying, hopefully what I'm showcasing is the fact that it's constantly trying to figure out what shapes are being made, what angle they could go in, and then relating it back to the form that they're currently wrapping around, right? So hopefully that makes it a bit clearer. And you'll see, like, even my center lines are a bit off. But that's just part of the process, you know? And then and again, I'm constantly trying to think about, because this is obviously outside the sphere at this point, right? But I'm constantly trying to think about the perspective, and yeah, like the more you reinforce the perspective with these boxes, right? Like with these lines that literally do reinforce the perspective, the more you do that, the easier it is to lose the actual perspective, for me, right? Where it's like, because you rely too much on what you've already established, but we can't rely that much on what we've already established, because we still need to understand the perspective that we're drawing in, right? Like we still need to understand that perspective, and that's the difficult part, is maintaining that level of understanding, that projection while we draw. And you can see I'm making a lot of mistakes here, right? But that's just part of the process, as I always say. There you go. Something interesting. I mean, this does look a lot cooler than anything else I've done. I mean, not cooler, sorry. It does look more structurally sound. Like, it looks like it's actually following the perspective a little decently, right? So, while I did want to do something else, right now, we just need to keep that sphere properly, let's see, something like, yeah, we'll do something like, it's wrapping like so. And what I'm doing here could be a giant mistake, because I've already fucked this up a decent amount. Like, this is not as good as it could have been. But if we're seeing the end of this, then, right, something like this should be okay, because it's wrapping around it. Okay, so that works. That actually works pretty decently. That actually works pretty fucking decently. Right, and then again, simple shapes. Add another cylinder here to be like, oh look, it's something mechanical. Again, I'm really trying to make sure that whatever design is being accrued right now is... I don't even know if that's the right word, because that's related with interest. What the fuck? Why? I don't know why I said that. But yeah, whatever design is being made right now is following... And again, like, I almost lost the entire sphere there, but this is actually probably the most accurate I've done it, even if it's nothing exceptional. And we will do something like this, because we want, at least I want, symmetry, but like this is bigger and this is smaller, right? Like that already makes me feel as if like, okay, like we're doing something, right? And then again, we will try to maintain the evenness that I've been attempting to establish, you know, the center line and all that stuff. And then, of course, this is a bit smaller, even though I'm pretty sure there's a lot of mistakes happening here, but I'm trying to hold that perspective as much as possible. This is definitely my best attempt, I think. Like, I would say so, like, because I'm taking it slow. Again, it's supposed to be slow. If it's not slow, if it's not intentional, if it's not with a shit ton of brain energy being expended, then there's likely something that is missing, which in our output, which is effort, right? Effort is the great equalizer. And the thing is, I'll be completely honest, some of your efforts will have a worse return on investment compared to anybody else putting the same effort in. That's the quote unquote talent thing that everybody loves to fucking harp on about, right? It's like my efforts are worthless because somebody else put less effort, or put see, like I made a huge mistake there, is because somebody else put less effort or equivalent effort and they achieved more. It's like, all right, you have two options. That may be true, that may not be true, but the reality is that you put effort in, right? And you were better than when you didn't put effort in. And that fact cannot be taken away from you, correct? So what good does it do you to lament that others' efforts meant more, supposedly, or objectively, right? That was also a mistake. They're misaligned. But what good does it do you? That's the first question, right? A, what good does it do you? B, why does it matter? Are you gonna stop putting in effort now because somebody else tried a little bit less harder and they got more out of it? If the answer is yes, well, you're just setting yourself up to never actually achieve the things you want to achieve, because you're gonna keep thinking other people's achievements will already matter more than your efforts ever will, right? So that's another thing. It's like, do other people's efforts meaning more, or providing more return on investment due to some sort of initial affinity that's like a 15-20% boost, right? Quote unquote talent. Okay, see, like this was good, but you can see like where it really went to shit is where, like, I didn't really, like, this part's pretty decent, but definitely this is the weakest, and there will be somebody out there. See, like if I just made this little fix right here, look at that, You see? Now it's like a perfect sphere. That's pretty fucking decent. I mean, that mistake aside, but that mistake is necessary, right? But look at that. That already looks so much fucking better. Jesus. That already looks... What a much better attempt, for sure, right? Now the next step is to... Of course, like, I actually managed to slightly maintain that subtlety. I feel as if this was pretty decent. But, yeah, the point I'm trying to make is... Somebody else's effort meaning more, or doing more, or producing more does not discount your effort, because everybody has, as the wise men say when they try to be inspirational, their own journey. Everybody haul up your own journey, right? But seriously though, I'm sure, okay, think about it this way, right? Somebody who's put in the exact same amount of effort that I have into my journey, right? Let's say somebody else, let's say two other people. One person is a bit more have an affinity, quote unquote talented, right? Like they just learn specific things that I'm trying to do faster, right? And then the other learns it a bit slower, but they're still learning, they're still improving, they're still doing their best. So this whole comparison thing is what fucks people over. It's like, are you going to, when you die, are you going to be like, I should have compared myself more to that person? Or are you going to be like, should have just continued to do what I always do, which is what I want to do, which is try to achieve the things that meant something to me, right? Because I'll tell you this, the person who lives at the end and doesn't regret is the one who focused on themselves, not within a bubble, of course. You have to obviously, you don't compare, you get inspired, right? You compete. You're like, okay, you know, if that guy is just better at me, or that girl is just better than me, and they put in the same amount of effort or less effort, okay, I'm just gonna try harder. I'm gonna put more effort. I'm gonna put effort that they haven't even conceptualized to put in. Like right now, I'm probably beating quite a few people just by putting an effort into things that they find to be useless, like the box, the sphere inside the box, and the center line inside the sphere inside the box. But that's gonna set me up for the next 10 decades. 10 decades, what the fuck? I'm not gonna live to 140. 5 decades. 5 decades? 5 to 6 decades. But anyways, let's rest our brains, and then, like, this was pretty fucking good. This was definitely, this was, like, I'm very proud of this, because I went slow, steady, really tried to hold the visualization, and I feel as if I understood quite a bit. And, like, my form wrapping got a lot better. And the shapes themselves weren't anything unnecessarily excessive, right? They're nothing crazy, and there could be better, but it's not bad. But yeah, I'm just gonna rest my brain. I encourage you to do so as well. Yeah, I'm sure, like, not now, but probably in the future, those who listen to, Jesus Christ, I don't know how to turn a paper clearly. Those who listen to this will either be in a few camps. There's gonna be the positive camp, the negative camp, and then the neutral camp, as with anything, right? That's basically the only fucking 3 options there are when it comes to responding or having any sort of reaction to information or someone's thoughts and opinions. Right? To the positive camp, cool, you understand what I'm saying. Effort is all that matters. To the negative camp, you don't understand what I'm saying, and effort is all that matters. And neutral camp, same thing. There you go. I've addressed everybody, right? I have a feeling that people will be like, yeah, but you know, like comparison, blah blah blah. This, I don't know. Like, I feel as if the same argument that I've seen all the time is just people being way in their own fucking head, which just means you're a bitch, right? That just means you're a bitch. But the great thing about being a bitch is that it's a mindset. You can learn how to not be a bitch, right? And that's beautiful, because you can literally change your mind over consistent hundreds of repetitions, because it's a skill, to not be a bitch. Isn't that inspiring? You're like, oh, I have these thoughts which aren't conducive to my growth, and I can literally change them. Like, I can literally focus on identifying them and taking actionable steps towards contrasting them with thoughts that do serve me, right? Again, why does anybody, and this is not my advice, this is the advice of people much more successful, better within the domain of art, business, anything, right? Life, skill acquisition, improvement, right? It's, why do you think the number one thing people say, like the number one thing people say is mindset, right? If enough people are fucking saying mindset, there has to be something to it, no? This can't just be like some bullshit that everybody wants to parrot but nobody practices. I would assume, and this is, yes, an assumption being made, but we would assume that mindset does matter. Who would have fucking taught? Who would have taught mindset matters, right? But I think the assumption that mindset matters, that's actually, that sounds like the Marshall Mathers NP. I don't know, just some random thought I had. But I think the fact that mindset matters should be inspiring, because you're like, oh, it's my mind that's the problem. It's not my abilities, right? Problem isn't even the right word. It's the roadblock, the point of friction. There you go. That's more safe and you know, reassuring to the bitch mindset that you may have, right? Because you don't want to think there's a problem, but there is a problem. Your mindset is the fucking problem, right? Okay, now I curved this way too much. Like, now we're way too tilted away. This person's face is way more forward facing, so this is another mistake, right? So I'm trying to figure out that good rotated cube spatial reasoning slowly but surely. Yeah, they're too tilted away now, but this is still good practice, because now I can practice drawing something that's tilted away. I really like the design I did here. I just want to practice more on having things that jut out, like here, right? I want to practice what things would look like on the other end, you know? That's the main thing, like that, right? Since I struggle with conceptualizing or spatially reasoning the other side, right, and accurately doing that, this is gonna be the goal for this one, is we need to make it accurate. Never forget that while I'm talking, I'm drawing. Like, while I'm literally talking, I'm thinking about all the things I mentioned that I'm thinking about. So these are all skills. I mean, this should hopefully prove that it's all skills, right? But again, like, I don't know what it is with beginners. I don't know why. I do know why it's so difficult, but it's so fucking, dude. Like, this is the thing. Like, when you get more advanced, you've already put in so much work that you know that others are capable of that work, right? That's why I don't cater my content towards beginners, but I talk about beginners so much is because they live rent free in my head. but but like okay, like truthfully, it's because I was a beginner, right? Like that's the first part. It's like I was a beginner. Second part is I was a beginner who struggled so fucking much with the things all beginners struggle with, which is actually practicing the things that matter, right? That's the first thing, or the second thing. I don't fucking know. But and then beyond that, it's like I know the struggle. Like I trust me when I say I know the struggle. I've documented the struggle. I'm documenting the fucking struggle as I speak, literally. So that means I'm the only person qualified to speak about this at all times. But it's just something I'm passionate about. I know it could be seen as like, oh, this guy's always fucking talking about the same shit, dude. Like he's always bitching about beginners, but it's oh god, after that was like a question mark burp. It's like, am I burping? I don't know. But I talk about beginners a lot because I know how much the discomfort of learning is in the beginning. There you go. That's the burp that was waiting to come out. Right? But I know I'm very well aware, and that's why, search up Viggy. This is a video for beginner artists. You are not alone. Like, just search that up. That's literally my magnum opus video for beginners to be like, look at all the work that it took to get even mediocre, right? Like, I understand that you'll be drawing, like, I understand that drawing boxes for fucking hundreds and hundreds of repetitions is extremely difficult. Like, I get that, right? Notice how I didn't say boring. Notice how I didn't say not worth it. Notice how I didn't say anything negatively connotated with drawing boxes, because of mindset and actually understanding the importance of fundamentals and learning. Oh, fuck, I fucked up this. I fucked that up. Anyways, right? Because again, the boxes are not boring. They're difficult. They're extremely difficult, which is why you shy away from them, right? It's just a fact. Like if they were, I say this all the time, but if they were easy, or if they were boring, they would be easy. They wouldn't be stimulating, and you'd be able to do them at all times without thinking, right? So, like, think about it this way, right? Drawing a line for you is boring. Think about anything that you're good at in art right now, right? Like for you, if you look at a reference and you can draw it relatively accurately, that's kind of boring in the sense that the actual act, you're not stimulated by it, right? Then again, knowing a lot of beginners and how people are in this day and age when it comes to learning, maybe it isn't boring for you because you like doing things you're good at, right? Obviously, we all like doing things we're good at, but it's about training your mind to like doing things you're not good at, to literally just like struggling, right? And again, that's why effort is the reward. The growth is a byproduct of the effort, but the effort is the reward. And that's something you can train yourself. But yeah, like I talk about beginners a lot because I was a beginner who went through that period, and I came out of it with the mindset that, hey, learning is fun. Hey, I have trained myself to enjoy learning. Hey, effort is the reward. Hey, focus on the errors, focus on the effort, right? And that should be the takeaway for anybody who's trying to learn. It's not about I came out of my journey being like, oh guys, it's boring and it's a struggle, but you gotta do it, you gotta do it. Right? No, it's like, no, it's extremely difficult. It's extremely stimulating. Therefore, we train ourselves to enjoy that difficulty and that stimulation, right? That is the approach. That is the only approach, in my opinion. Because, again, some dipshit on Instagram, and yeah, I'll be rude about this because I'm passionate about this topic, right? But some dickhead posted on Instagram, and yeah, whatever, I don't care if it's satire, right? The point is, you're permeating a message, and this person's real. I think I literally talked about this a few videos ago, but it's related to what I'm saying now, is the fact that too many people in the beginner art space are like, I'm cursed to draw boxes, and this guy's real, something like that. We're born to be an artist, cursed to draw boxes, or like cursed to draw simple shapes. You're not fucking born to be an artist if you think drawing simple shapes is a curse. You're born to be an artist if you think drawing itself is the fucking end all be all, and you love it and you're obsessed with it, right? No, you're not born to do something if you dislike doing the thing. That's just contradictory by nature, right? Like, the people who are born to do something are the people we look at like, wow, they just love it. No matter how difficult it is, they just love the challenge. This guy clearly doesn't fucking love the challenge, right? Or whatever, if it's satire, if it isn't satire. The point is, you're permeating a mindset. You're instilling a mindset amongst the people who listen or watch you or whatever to be like, dude, doing difficult things? Come on, it's a curse, right? Go into the mind, go into your drawing session in the mindset that I hate this, but I have to do it, rather than I can't wait to do something difficult and challenging, and I know that the end result is that I'll be a person at the end of a session who's able to do something that was difficult and challenging. Like, I changed. Whether my abilities changed or not in the moment does not matter. I changed because I persisted, right? But yeah, no, I was pretty fucking, and I just hate that. I see that everywhere. Even professionals say it. You gotta do the boring work. It's like, it's not fucking boring. Change your fucking mindset, okay? And this guy, because I commented, I'm like, stop promoting this type of mindset. Doing difficult things is a good thing, right? And I was like, you should be encouraging that. You have people who watch you. And he responded, be like, apart from the fact that it's clearly satire, I'm just bitching now. But he's like, apart from the fact that it's clearly satire, right? It's unrealistic to expect to enjoy learning at all times. Right? I'm like, no, it's not. I do it. I literally do it 95% of the time. You guys, and I have evidence in all my videos. In literally every single video, there's maybe a total of 5 to 6 videos, over 300 now, right? 5 to 6 of my videos. I'm like, God, and it wasn't even me disliking the learning journey. It was just me being in that state, kind of my regress state, where I was having expectations and I wasn't meeting those expectations, right? So that's what it is. It's always expectations and not meeting them. By the way, while I've been talking, I still have been thinking. Don't get me wrong, I'm still fucking drawing in my mind and really trying to figure this out. So thankfully, skills are being built regardless whether it looks like it is or not. Like, I'm still thinking about the box, the sphere inside the box, the center lines. I haven't thought of any shapes yet, but I'm still trying to hold that as much as possible, which is good, because that's part of the skill as well, right? But I'm going to rest my brain in a little bit. I just want to finish that thought with it, which is, I talk about beginners a lot because I went through the struggle, and I know how difficult it is. I had sheer anxiety putting down fucking. I started pen only because I'm like, I want to brute force. I want to brute force the line confidence. I just want to brute force it, right? But obviously, with the attempt to brute force comes a reality that, well, you're not the person who can put down a line confidently. You haven't built evidence. So my building evidence was 5 to 8 months of just being like, oh God, putting down the line, just. Dude, I can't explain how much my fucking stress would spike when I would try to put it down, right? But that's why I had to literally learn how to change my mindset, because it's not sustainable to be fucking scared every time you draw. So it just comes down to, we have to translate that fear into excitement, into being like, I'm gonna fucking learn, and I love learning. I'm gonna do difficult things, and the effort is the only thing I'm gonna focus on. And for me, part of that came from knowledge. Like, when you know that your brain learns better when you translate errors into positive responses within yourself, and when you focus only on the effort, then the win is the effort, and the win is trying not to make mistakes, but making them and then feeling good about making them. Like, that's the win. So I literally had to, and that's what always helps me, is like, okay, well, whether it's true or not, whether the science is true or not, the fact of the matter right now seems to be that it's true. It's good for our brain to actually enjoy learning. Who would have fucking thought? Right? So that's all I'm trying to say, is like, I will always encourage anybody who listens or watches me to know that they can draw, and the only thing stopping them is their mindset and what they do when they learn, like how they approach the word challenge and difficulty, right? And if I hear anybody say but I can't do it, if any of you fuckers had any of those thoughts at one point or the other, you need to look inwards, because why some random dickhead on the internet who nobody cares about, clearly, because I actually don't get many subs right now, but why some random dickhead who's just drawing shit, right, telling you that you can do it, and then your mind is coming up with who knows how many excuses to be like, no, I can't do, no, but you don't understand, no, like, it's actually difficult, no, because my uncle diddled my ear when I was 8. It's like, who gives a fuck? Okay, my uncle diddled my goddamn nose when I was 8. Like, things happen, you know? But right now, you have a paper, you have a pen, and you got sheer willpower. And what else? What other synonyms and buzzwords can I use? Yeah, you can do it. I'm gonna rest my brain. I encourage you to do so as well. All right, wonderful. Okay, well, video's gone on for a pretty long time. It's been, 54 minutes. So this is probably gonna be like roughly an hour and 15-minute video, right? And after this, I have to immediately, it's 2:30 right now, so it'll be like 2:50 by the time I'm done, 2:52. My piano lesson's at 3:30 today instead of 4:30. I moved it up because I'm gonna meet up with my friends to do some work. Body doubling, but IRL, very, very, very intimate, right? But either way, again, box, sphere inside the box, center lines inside the sphere inside the box. Very fucking difficult, but now I need to see, like, I actually fucked this up because this is converging when in real life or at least in the image, I don't believe it's converging. Like, so we're gonna have to change this slightly. Like, it has to be more similar to what I did here, right? But this is actually more accurate for sure. I think I'm getting it down in relation to the reference, right? Oof, man, I love this. I fucking love drawing, right? And again, we can train ourselves to just. I love drawing because I love the difficulty it entails, right? And the biggest tip I can give is like, apart from, focus on the errors, focus on the effort, is like really internalize focusing on the effort and errors, and really internalize not having expectations. Like, your only expectation is, I'm gonna try to meet my standards. I'm not expecting to meet the standards, but I'm gonna try to meet my standards, right? Like, expectations versus trying, because when you expect to do the cool thing that you see online, or the shapes that you see online, or the whatever the fucking art that you see online, abilities, skills that you see online, right? Or from people when you expect to meet that, there's disappointment, and that's when you don't enjoy the errors, and that's when your brain actually shuts off learning, versus when you simply attempt to meet those expectations, right? Attempt to meet those standards. Attempt, not expect to meet those standards, but attempt to meet those standards, right? And while recognizing that it's not going to happen, right? Probably to the degree that you're expecting, that's when you actually learn the best, is what I've experienced, right? Like, I didn't expect to be able to draw something like this. I attempted to try to draw something like this, while at the fully being aware that, like, I probably won't reach it. Like, or it's very likely I won't reach it. But now it's like I've actually created something that looks relatively cohesive as a design, right? And the same thing is, like, I'm gonna try to do that now here. And again, like, dedicated practice, just really trying to grind my brain. So, and okay, like, see, like, I'm already, again, a mistake was just made in my mind where I tilted this way up. And I just need to really get that perspective to make sense. So, and this may be very well incorrect. Like, it may be very well incorrect. But again, like, I'm really trying to see that box. I'm really trying to see that fucking box. And right now, the focus is more on form wrapping. Sorry, I'm trying to see the box and the sphere, right? But right now, the focus is really on form wrapping. And I think I've already fucked it up a little. But we'll be the judge of that when we finish the drawing, right? Yeah, we'll be the judge of that when we finish the drawing. See, like, it's already a bit tilted, it's a bit incorrect, and now it's like, okay, like, what shape can be drawn even on top of this, right? And this is where, see, because my brain actually, for some reason, wants to do it from this perspective, right? Like, actually, I'm thinking in the bottom perspective, even though that's not accurate at all. So, for me, it's just about, yeah, like, I'm trying really hard to make sense of all this. Oof, this is very difficult. Let's actually, there you go. So, like, okay, I've already tilted it a little bit. The angle's already a bit off. It's obviously more of the top-down perspective now, but that's okay. That's okay. I accept it. I've understood it. That's okay. But what matters now is just holding that box and holding that sphere, and essentially trying to create something from it. Whether it's good or not, it doesn't matter. All that matters to me in this given moment is that I try. And I'm trying to think, like, okay, what if I add a shape in this direction, right? And then we think about the center, right? That's the center. It's coming out this way. It's obviously a little bit of foreshortening. See, like, I fucked up the perspective, but that doesn't mean that suddenly everything changes. Now, this is very difficult because taken that there's a diagonal, there's this happening, and I'm still trying to hold that entire box in my mind, right? So that's the main thing as well. Is like, okay, how did the perspective shift slightly, and how am I going to respond to it? Because that's the main thing. Is like, how are we responding? right, to the mistakes that we've made. You know, not how are we making mistakes, but how are we also responding to the mistakes that we have made, right? And this might have been the incorrect response, but the only person who may know that is not even me right now, because I'm literally so focused on just trying to see everything and to make sure that it makes sense. Right? And maybe it doesn't make sense, and that's okay too. Let's bring this out here. Let's see. And I don't even know if this is initially what I wanted to do, because I'm losing it. I'm losing so much right now. What I mean is, like, I'm losing the perspective. I'm really losing the perspective, and my lines are going to shit. But this is where I'm gonna recalibrate and be like, okay, no, take a step back, really think about this. Right? Like, genuinely take that step back. And that already may be wrong, but I don't care, because I'm just trying to see that sphere. I'm really trying to just see that sphere. Whew, this is good. This is very good practice. Something like that, right? And then we'll, again, on the, oh, see, now I gotta get that, I almost forgot this cylinder. Bring it out slightly, it's like right there. Right? And all while I'm doing this, I'm constantly, just to the best of my effort, trying to think about that box. Proportionally too. Not just thinking about it for the sake of thinking about it, trying to think about it encompassed inside this thing. Right? While my lines suffer. Yeah. I do believe I'm offering, I do believe I'm offering value, right? At least in the sense that I think it's extremely, at least personally for me, as someone who draws, right, or someone who's interested in art, I love it when artists actually explain their thought process, right? Like, that to me is worth fucking everything. So for those of you who are similar, I do believe I'm offering pretty fucking decent value in that regard, right? But I'm not saying that I like offer the most value in the world, but I think just being able to know what an artist is thinking is extremely helpful. Now, let's see. Again, I'm trying to think, like, okay, what's an interesting shape? Again, that word is a fucking blight, but still have to try to figure out what an interesting shape is. Right? Okay, that's not bad. And again, like, really trying to figure out that, really trying to keep the box in my mind at all times. And it's goddamn painful, bro. It's so painful. Actually, I think I fucked up the perspective here now that I look at it. Yeah, I fucked up the perspective. It's not straight down. So that's a mistake. I've already fucked up the perspective. And that feels amazing, because I just forced myself to feel good while doing that. Right? But we need to take a step back and also think about the sphere. So I will maybe try something like this. Hold up. Initially, I wasn't going to do something like, well, I didn't think about what I'm about to do right now at all, but let's see if we can make it work. I'm going to attempt to make it work while I consistently think about while I consistently think about the box, the sphere inside the box, and the center lines, which is extremely difficult because I'm very zoomed in on drawing this line right now, right? Like, I'm very zoned in on drawing this line and this, but I still have to think about the overall shape. So we'll do something like, and then that wasn't exactly what I wanted, but still something. And now this is a good opportunity for me to practice cylinder merging with sphere, right? That's its form combination, which is probably the fucking hardest thing in the goddamn world. Bless me. But yeah, that's what I wanted to do, basically. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. Let's see. It's super difficult. Like, I'm actually losing a lot of everything right now. I want to be very clear. Like, I'm losing quite a bit. And, you know, in terms of just designing something relatively compelling, we could add little boxes here. Right? This is purely for symmetry's sake. And also, again, trying to think about, and again, like, I'm really trying to think about that box in the sphere, but it's hard when I'm so zoomed out from it now. Like, this is actually displaced out of that initial box in the sphere, right? So we still have to be like, no, it's attached to that. Like, it's genuinely attached to that. Because it's not just about designing something interesting, you know, fucking, as much as I hate that word, it's about, see, fuck up in a line, fuck up in a line. These lines are all fuck ups. Because I struggle with that angle. See, and now we can close this off and it might look a little bit better. Maybe, not really. Yeah, fuck it. But let's see. What do I want to do here? Do I want to just leave this as it is? Maybe just a slight jet out like that will make it look nicer. Who fucking knows? Maybe not. But let's see. There you go. Okay, so that is at least starting to look like something. But now we really have to take it back to the sphere. And yes, this is off perspective, right? This sphere's front plane is like this, right? This is the angle of this front plane, and this is like this. That is enough of a difference to completely fuck with the entire design. But again, now I have to bring it back to the sphere, right? Let's see. There you go, something like that. Okay, it still looks like it's connected, which is good. I made a fuck up here, but we'll fix it right now, because thankfully that is not too noticeable. Let's see, something like this. And now you know, now we can actually see that my cylinder is off perspective as well. And that's why it's a skill as well. It's very difficult to draw a cylinder or shapes behind other shapes. It completely fucks with things. Like, it completely fucks with things. At least it does for me. At least it does for me. Right? But I'd like to believe it's a relatively universal experience in that sense, because it is very difficult to... Like, it's extremely difficult to fucking... you know, yeah, draw a shape behind another shape. My experience is the only experience. Anyways, okay, so... What do I want to do here? Yeah, like, you can see this completely off perspective now. Like, everything compared to this as well. But I'm still going to try to hold it. I'm still just going to try to make sense of it. Let's see. How do we... Okay, so this is what I can do. Alright, so first... It kind of looks like a witch doctor. And now what I did right here could be wrong as well. I don't know if I'm actually doing this correctly, right? In terms of the sizing of the sphere, like, what I did right here could definitely be incorrect and could fuck me over, but I'm trying to add some dimensionality to this wraparound. You can see my lines are suffering a lot. My lines are genuinely suffering quite a bit, right? But this has to follow the contour of the sphere, and so does this. Right, we have to follow the perspective as well. We'll make it come around like this. Right, trying to think about the contour. Like, keep trying to think about that as much as possible. Right? We can even add little... Just small little simple shapes like so. This one is more in perspective. Jesus Christ, my fucking cylinders, bro. It's ass. And then same thing. Okay, something like that. Right? And now again, we have to think about the sphere, which is right. Basically, this thing is ending like this, right? That's the sphere. So we just have to attach it now. And I say just as if it's easy. It's not easy. But we will try to attach it in a way that looks decent, hopefully. This right here, what I'm doing right now, is a bit of a crapshoot in the sense that, like, I'm just kind of seeing, like, will this make sense? Like, will this work? And because I didn't center this properly, I'm now frauding by adding, like, a smaller cylinder, trying to be like, oh, design, but it doesn't really, it was not intentional. Like, it just was not intentional, right? So, you know, same thing's happening on the other side. We're gonna close. See, and I struggle with closing that sphere as well, but let's see. Something like this. Is this a perfect sphere? It was, but it feels like I fucked it up here. There you go. This is okay. It's like, it's so easy to fuck up this line that starts the connection. You know, it's so easy to mess that up. But let's see. And I think I did something wrong here, like in terms of the connection on the other side. Because, like, look how far away this is, and look how there's no space there. So something went off. Something genuinely is not correct. Is it the spacing? It's not the spacing, maybe. I don't know, because, like, look, this is also supposed to have this thing connecting here, right? But why is this supposed to be so, why is it so much closer than this? Like, this space versus this space? Technically, I guess it's right there. Technically? But again, I don't know. The connection seems off. Something about this is off. I have a tendency to condense the other side, so I need to look into that better. But for the time being, let's see. There you go. Something like this. And we'll have this wrap around too. There you go, something like that. And we will do the same for this. And I've obviously lost the perspective quite a bit at this point, but there you go. And then we'll just finish this sphere off like so. We could just fraud and be like, oh, this actually ends right here. This isn't bad. I feel as if definitely a lot of things could be better, but it's not bad. I mean, my ability to wrap shapes around a sphere is definitely getting better, and like keeping it simple is helping quite a fucking bit. Even here, I could do something like, again, trying to think about the shapes and like really trying to keep the contour decent. But it's slowly but surely like trying to think about that sphere and trying to understand the consistency of those shapes, which is the most important thing. Like, absolutely the most important thing. It's getting slightly better. Okay, that actually looks functional too, to a degree, right? I want to add something here, just something. Oh, Jesus Christ, see that line? We'll just add a giant, well, what I thought was going to be a giant ellipse, but because obviously my shapes. And we'll do something like this. That's not what I meant to do, but that's literally not what I meant to do, but we'll leave it. It looks, perspective, everything, like a lot of things are off, but still, like, look at that, like really slowing down and trying to think about how this all shapes together is making a huge difference for sure. But yeah, this is grossly misaligned, that right there, like this in general. But yeah, with that being said, that was fucking amazing session, again, because I tried, and that's all that matters. I hope you tried as well, because again, that's all that fucking matters, right? Just keep trying to improve and slowly understand your mistakes, slowly just keep working at it, really grind your brain. And yeah, with that being said, as always, fuck you for watching, keep drawing, and please, give me money.